The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning, everyone. This is Kathleen Taylor with the Nevada Women's Business Center, Nevada Business Opportunity Fund. And thank you so much for tuning in to this morning's webinar. I am so excited about what we're going to discuss today. We're going to have a fantastic interactive discussion, and we'll talk about DBE certification and the capability statement, making the connection. And with that being said, we have some resource partners that are partnering with us. We also have two guest speakers that are subject matter experts in this particular area. We have a phenomenal local business owner as well who has gone through the process of getting certified as a DBE, and we're going to hear from her shortly. As audience members, please use your panel from the GoToWebinar platform. If you want to chime in with questions or answers, with questions or comments, our panel will be more than happy to answer your questions. And with that being said, it's my pleasure to have our resource partners here. We have both Dino Brown with the Las Vegas Urban League and also our esteemed colleague, Mr. Marcel Shayer, who is the Deputy Director of the Nevada Department of Business and Industry with us today. So, Dino, could you share with the audience an overall perspective about the Las Vegas Urban League's services for the community?
Sure. The Las Vegas Urban League, we provide a variety of services to low to moderate income families. Everything from child care to women's health, around women who are about to have children and breastfeeding and lactation, things of that nature, to weatherization or community development, where we help families rebuild their homes, especially comes in handy with the elderly, as well as just childhood education as well. I head up the Innovation Center for Entrepreneurship, and we basically operate as a small business consulting firm where we help existing small businesses become more and more profitable, as well as grow their markets and improve their brands. And we also help individual entrepreneurs who are looking to get a new business started. We've been open since 2015. Over the last 4 years, we've helped to start over 100 businesses in the Las Vegas Valley, and we can only do so through wonderful partnerships with Nevada Women's Business Center and Kathleen, as well as the Nevada Department of Business and Industry and my friend Marcel. So I'm very happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Excellent. Thank you, Dino, and we really appreciate your partnership as well. Just as we appreciate the partnership of the Nevada Department of Business and Industry, and we have Marcel Shayer here today, the Deputy Director of the Department of B&I. And Marcel, would you like to share some information with the audience about the Nevada Department of Business and Industry?
Well, thank you. Good morning again, Kathleen, Dino, and our distinguished guests here. Welcome to, actually, we're hosting this event out of what we call the Nevada State Business Center, a place for collaboration, for services, for innovation, and of course to celebrate the success of the small businesses. And I'm looking forward, Rebecca, to your presentation and what you have to say about the component of your small business. What we do here is basically the Nevada Department of Business and Industry is the regulatory umbrella for the state. However, our heart and soul are into what we call the small business sector and entrepreneurship. And in that capacity, of course, we have a guide to starting and growing a business in Nevada, which we call the Roadmap to Business Success. And that is basically something that we put together with the help of all our resource partners in order to help individuals walk through this journey of making a small business more successful, from getting help. And I don't know if you have a visual, Kathleen, on the screen, but as you can see there are different categories basically not necessarily steps, but just what matters the most as you are planning either to start, to operate, or to grow a business. And today, of course, the subject matter has to do with certification and contracts and all this wonderful area there that also matters. So resources, information, and tools are provided through this roadmap. We ask the people participating today to take a look at it, to also become ambassadors and disseminate this information to other individuals who basically need a chart, a visual, in order to just understand more this small business ecosystem and how many wonderful organizations can help.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Marcel. And with that being said, it's my pleasure to introduce to you David Eclips of the McCarran Airport, and he is the head of the Disadvantaged Business Program. And I'm so pleased to have you here today, David.
Thank you.
In addition to your guest, Rebecca Fountain, and she is the owner of KOR Building Group. It's a local construction company in Las Vegas, and they have done a very impressive body of work on the Strip, such as with the currently contracted with the Venetian Hotel and Casino. She has many certifications. She is very active in the community as well in assisting women, minorities, small business owners, grow their companies towards success. And David, you've had the I would say the privilege, because it's very impressive what you've done so far, Rebecca, and you've had the privilege in working with her to help her with her DBE certification and also capability statement to position her for a certain level of contracts. So with that being said, please share with the audience your background, some things about your program, and how you and Rebecca have connected over this time.
Okay, very good. Well, Kathleen Marcel, appreciate you inviting us to this event today. This is great, and McCarran International Airport is a great resource partner for the community. And so, with that said, again, my name is David Eclips. I am the DBE Liaison Officer for McCarran International Airport, and the DBE is the Disadvantaged Business Enterprise Certification Program, which is a federal program under DOT. Now, there are two certifying agencies that certify the DBE program. It's ourselves, McCarran International Airport, and then also NDOT. Okay. Now, the DBE program is, like I said, it's a federal program geared towards minority, women-owned businesses, and small businesses for helping them start and also compete against other contractors for state, federal, and county jobs to give them a level playing field of bidding on these projects. It helps them towards a DBE goal that the hotels or other industries establish. Okay, for FAA projects, we also have a goal that has to be met per the FAA regulations. And so this certification helps the small businesses grow in the community. Now, a couple of things about the certification. There's it's a federal program, as like I stated, but there's certain restrictions. The personal net worth for the business owner cannot exceed 1.32. Anything below 1.32 is considered disadvantaged. Okay, and then most of the ownership for the DBE program is 51% or more. That person, he or she must have total control of their company. Okay, and the process takes about 90 days to get it from start to finish, but then the certification is voted on by the NUCP board, the Nevada Unified Certification Program Board, which consists of McCarran International Airport, RTC North and South, Reno Tahoe Airport, Carson City, and NDOT. Okay, that's just a quick snapshot of the DBE program, but it's very stringent. Okay.
Excellent. And Rebecca, how would you what would you like to share with the audience in reference to your experience as an entrepreneur and going through the process of the DBE certification?
Well, thank you for having me.
Mhm.
I've been in construction over 30 years here in the Valley. I'm born and raised here. I know this area really well, and I've always wanted to have my own company, which I have for many years. I met David at an outreach event about 3 years ago, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, 3 years ago. And my intention with my company was to get in and do McCarran Airport work. So in meeting David, the initial meeting was excellent, but it was the follow through. I had to follow through what he suggested, and that went along with getting the certification. I had been certified through Webeck West as a woman-owned certified company, but I hadn't done the DBE program yet. So when I went through that process, it can, for some people, it can be daunting to do all the paperwork and wonder if you're doing it right, and then do the interview, the on-site interview. But it truly is if you are controlling your company and you're operating it from the standpoint that David spoke of, it's a no-brainer to get your DBE certification. And what it's done for CORE, it's allowed us, it's opened doors for us, because it is an area where they do want to meet the goals. And as long as I can back up what I say I can do, such as bidding on my contracts, then it opens the door and I get to bid, and it makes a level playing field. So it's been an excellent program, and it continues to be, because we do quite a bit of work at McCarran Airport.
Excellent. And with that being said, could you and David give us a little bit more detail in what you mean by it opens the door for you? Could you give a little bit more concrete examples? Does it give you more leverage when your company's proposal or quote for a bid is being reviewed by a purchaser, by the person that's overseeing the contract? Does the DBE certification or other certifications give you some type of leverage?
Well, yes, it does. It does give leverage.
Excellent.
And when I say open the door, the state and the federal government, and I don't want to speak this incorrectly, but they have goals that they need to meet. And so it's not easy to meet those goals on their end, because there's not a lot of qualified, certified companies that can do this work. So we become that minority in the mix of it all. And so they're going to look at our bid. They're going to want to work with us. Their intent is to work with us, but it doesn't mean that we're entitled. Just because we're certified, it doesn't mean we're entitled. It just means they're going to look at us a little bit more than they might another, just because they need to meet their quotas, and we can provide that. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Oh, definitely, yes.
But I know that it's assisted me in every aspect. I've bid on the Raiders Stadium. I've bid on a lot of hotel projects, and everyone is looking for a qualified, certified company. And we're fortunate enough, my organization, that we meet a lot of those criteria.
Excellent. And
So, Rebecca, when it comes to this qualification of being eligible, what are some of the barriers that are preventing individuals from maximizing what you just mentioned?
I honestly think some of the barriers are just actual intimidation. I think small companies such as mine and smaller that are starting out, they don't think they qualify to even bid the work, because it's the state or it's the city, or it's just more intimidating on them. They're intimidated. The other is the paperwork process. The paperwork in order to bid a state level type project, it's stringent. You have to understand the paperwork, and it's all based on fact and law, and the end user, the state, or use McCarran as an example, their purchasing department, contracts department, they can't deviate from the law. And so it's up to us, the contractor that's bidding, to prepare our paperwork correctly, or we get disqualified. That intimidates a lot of contractors that are out there. So in my world, all my subs, we take care of their paperwork because that's what we're general contractors. So we make sure the paperwork is accurate and correct.
So is there assistance to basically hold hands and for someone to help you with the paperwork?
I believe the way that we handled it in terms of my company, we actually would just reach out and ask questions. A lot of these smaller contractors, they don't realize that they could pick up the phone and say, hey, I don't understand what this is saying. Can you assist me or explain it to me or direct me to somebody that can? Most people won't pick up the phone and make that phone call.
Now, one thing, if I may, Marcel.
Oh, absolutely.
When I go out to do outreach events or talk with newly applicants that want to go to get the DBE certifications, okay, the one question that I always ask them, I go, so how come your company, how come I have not heard of your company bidding on projects, say, at McCarran or these other agencies? And the intimidation factor, like Rebecca just stated, it's a big thing. So what I do on my email blaster that I get from Nevada PTAC is Nevada PTAC has a lot of courses that they offer for free. How to do estimating, how to do read a contract, how to do a bid, and McCarran's going to put on within the next few months a workshop, maybe in May or June timeframe, on these specific areas that people are intimidating from contracts, bidding, and insurance, and so on. So the resources are out there even more now since we are going out there outreach events and looking at applicants to get them going and get their business started in these fields.
Well, I'm hoping that the individuals listening to this webinar will understand that and basically in a way to say, well, there is help out there to understand the what, but also to help in terms of the how to do it. Exactly what you were saying, Rebecca.
Absolutely, and David mentioned Nevada PTAC. They have been an excellent resource over the years for us. And going back to that intimidation, people don't realize they can pick up the phone and call PTAC. And they can talk to the director over there if they wanted to. Like, they're that available, and they just don't realize it. So that's what I've done, because I'm intending to move into the federal market and do federal contracting. And that's a whole different ballgame than doing McCarran and DOA contracting in terms of paperwork processes. So I reached out to Nevada PTAC and sat down with them and started the process of understanding step by step what it's going to take for my company to do federal contracting. And we are now bidding on 3 different contracts at Eclips right now. So we've progressed.
Good for you.
I am, excuse me, I'm just so thrilled to hear part of your story. It's quite enlightening, and whenever I'm partnering with the Department of Business and Industry, the Las Vegas Urban League, and having fantastic resource partners such as McCarran Airport here, and we're all working together. And this is kind of like the fruit of our labor, so to speak, you and your company, and how you've grown and developed. It's really incredible, very impressive. So I'm so proud of you. I really am. And Dino.
Kathleen, can I ask a quick question?
Yes.
So Rebecca and David hit on something that's very important that I've seen in this marketplace since 2015, right? Rebecca says, and she's been lucky because she is that competent of a business owner to pick up the phone and call. I guess my question is twofold. Number one, what are you doing to help improve the perception that this help is available? Because, right, PTAC's been around for years. SBA's been around for years. And going back to what Rebecca answered, quite frankly, around, is there somebody to hold your hand? Well, lots of places don't do that. So the first question is, what are you doing differently to get the word out that you guys exist and you're there to help? And number two, do you have the resources to hold hands?
Is that directed at me?
That's directed to both you and David. I'll take any answer I can get.
Okay, so let me start off first.
I run into the same thing with the Urban League. we've been doing this for 4 years now, and it really word of mouth is the most popular thing that drives people to to my doors. But I'm wondering what differently can I do?
Okay.
And so I'm hoping to get some insight from you on that.
Okay, so Dino, what I'm doing with our outreach events is, number one, to help. I'm old school. Okay, so I'm all more customer service oriented. I do not like getting on the emails all the time. I like going out, pounding the pavement, and talking to these companies and level the playing field for them, because, again, the intimidation factor is always there.
Absolutely.
Okay, they are scared to take that first step. And I tell them, if you don't take that first step, you're not going to get anywhere. So I put out an olive branch there, and I walk the dog with them. For example, this DBE certification application. I sit down with them. I schedule a meeting about 2 hours with them. And I go page by page, every question.
Wow.
And I go, do you understand this? Okay, who controls this? The reason why it helps me doing that is because I can automatically feel if the company or the individuals are qualified already, because I don't want to waste people's time. So old school me, walking the dog from start to finish on this application. What I do is I write draft on the application first, because I give that to them. I use that for them as a guide. And then in turn, I automatically send them an email with a clean copy of the application and the personal net worth. And I tell them to transpose it and also provide me the documents that's required for the application. And then I will meet them a second time when they're ready. I do not push them to get this application done. I tell them I work at your pace. Okay, when you are ready, I'll come out and see them again. So I usually meet with them twice. Okay, and then on the third visit, when everything's ready to go, I take that packet from them, and now our clock starts ticking for by regulation 90 days to get this application reviewed and approved or further for review. So yeah, I'm old school, man.
And I'll add to that. I know that getting involved in community efforts that are out there, organizations, has been a very large impact on my company. And so I joined the Nevada Contractors Association several years ago, and that was a little intimidating, being a woman-owned GC in the Valley, and the stigma that the NCA has is, it's an all-man type organization, association, and it just was intimidating to be this woman contractor to walk into that arena. Since joining, though, I became chair of the Diversity and Inclusion Council 3 years ago. And then, thank you. And then I chair the steering committee for that. And then I was inducted into the board of directors last year as the first woman. I'll say second woman, because Linda Harris was the first woman sitting on that board. She has since retired, and so now I'm the lucky one, I guess you could say. You sit at a board of about 40 men that are all prime contractors. We're talking about the big boys that are building our stadiums and so forth. That can be intimidating, but what I have found is they have embraced my presence. They have embraced my knowledge, my experience, my wisdom, and it's been an excellent experience. But by donating and being a part of community, that has made a big impact to me. That's causes success for my own company.
Excellent. And
Sure. One more really quick question to the two of you. And David, I can appreciate you because I'm old school as well.
Awesome.
And I think that's fantastic. Your accomplishments, particularly as a woman. So I'm going to state a worst case scenario. I'm going to do it to ask you guys to compare, right? So a similar certification. No, not. I don't know if it's similar or not, but I've had clients that I've tried to get certified for SBA 8A, right? And let me give you, again, a worst case scenario. So I have a contractor in North Las Vegas, and it took me and him together about 3 years to finally get certified, because every time we submit paperwork, they literally would go sniffing everywhere to try and find discrepancies, and that just drew the process out. So with that being said, how similar is your certification process to, or, Rebecca used the word stringent, and that's the word that I use all the time with regard to, how difficult it's going to be, and what, you have to be able to be comfortable enough as a person and as a business owner to let somebody basically, pat you down and understand all of your shortcomings and things that you need to look, out for. How similar, you mentioned 90 days, David. So how close, what is the realistic amount of time on average to get DBE certified?
Realistically, Dino, it would take about 30 days.
Okay.
We have a great consultant from LA that helps us do these on-site reviews. And and once the application she reviews, she lets us know if there's any more questions or this is ready to go for the board. And then in turn, she represents those companies and addresses them to the board, the NUSP board, for approval. But the thing is, though, Dino, is like we were talking about, old school, they should, if the company has questions regarding certification, they should automatically go back to the originator of that organization and ask them, hey, so why is it taking so long? Where can I sit down with you, and can we walk the dog and go through this application so we don't have to dwell down on time? I know 8A is very stringent with their paperwork. Because I know that the DBE paperwork is very regimented too as well. Did I answer your question? You
did. Thank you.
And speaking of questions, we have a couple from our audience members. Okay, so first one is geared, addressed to you, David.
Okay.
Could David explain briefly what would go into establishing net worth?
Okay, the personal net worth is nothing related to the business. Okay, the personal net worth is just how much what you have on hand, i.e. your properties that you may have, additional properties, the cash on hand that you have in the bank, any IRAs, I'm going through the checklist on my head, any brokerages if you have partnerships or stocks in your company, something to that effect equates to the personal net worth. Now, with that, I also look at your liabilities. Do you have any loans? Do you have any mortgages? Do you have any unpaid taxes? Okay, all those factors play into the personal net worth. And mind you, I did not say anything about your business. It's just your personal net worth that you have on hand right now.
No,
the personal financial statement is a good old-fashioned balance sheet for you as an individual.
Say again, Dino, I'm sorry?
The personal financial statement that most certification systems ask for is a good old-fashioned balance sheet on you as a person, having nothing to do with the business at all.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And you probably answered this question, David, but I'll
Sure.
ask. One person wanted to know what assets are counted or excluded, example 401k.
Okay, so I do have the P&W right now here. Okay, so the assets, I'm going to go down the checklist real quick. Cash and cash equivalents, retirement accounts, which includes IRAs, 401ks, pensions, brokerages, investment accounts, assets held in a trust, loans to shareholders and other receivables, real estate excluding your primary residence. So on the personal net worth, we do not include the primary resident of your area. But if you have other properties, which I've seen in the past, yeah, you must list that on your personal net worth statement. Life insurance, cash surrender value only. Other personal properties or assets, those can be considered as like your vehicle, jewelries, furnitures at home, okay, and other business assets or interests for the applicant's firm. So say, for example, you own other businesses besides your primary business. And that came straight from the personal net worth statement.
Fantastic. And another person commented, how would I get in touch with the gentleman who will walk through the DBE certification with my organization? His assistance sounds amazing, and I would love to tap into that resource.
Awesome. So here you go. Get ready to take this down. Okay, my email address is DavidE, DAVIDE, at McCarran, McCarran, DBE.com. But wait, there's more. I'm going to give you my personal number, area code 702-513-6868. You can contact me either by phone or by email, and I will get back to you. And I'm not one to wait. I am one to react really quickly, and then I will definitely come out to you, and I will sit down with you, and we'll go over these applications and the processes and answer any questions that you may have.
And this person responded, "Thank you, thank you, thank you."
Yes.
Now, so we talked about the DBE process to a degree, and you're a fantastic resource, David. So with that being said, let's transition to the capability statement. And Rebecca, could you share with us how you came into developing your capability statement, how it's been effective in getting you an audience, so to speak, with buyers and decision makers for bidding on contracts?
Sure. So the capability statement was kind of a work in progress initially. I put one together based off of a template, and then as I would show it to somebody, whether it was at a federal contracting event or McCarran event, I would then ask for critique. And so David's been kind enough to critique. The federal government liaison that I was talking to, he was very kind to critique. He made sure he critiqued, because the federal government looks for a little bit different type of information than what we would on the public side. So I basically have two capability statements that I utilize. And then I took that information and then I had it doctored up by a marketing firm just to make it look pretty. So, but they're very important. They should have all the detailed information about your company, your certifications, your licenses, your bonding capabilities, just the various information that's important to that particular scope of work that you would be entering into. And they make a big difference because people look at you if you have a solid capability statement.
That's fantastic.
One of the things that I wanted to clarify, Rebecca, is that capability statement. We professionals, if we're looking for a job, we put a resume together, right? A professional resume.
Yes.
So what you are saying, this is comparable to
A resume.
an individual resume. This is a sort of a business resume, which is called the capabilities statement.
That is correct.
Okay, that's fantastic. So in addition to that, not only the certifications, what are some of the other main categories? Is there a format that identifies some other areas that really matter when you are trying to present your business effectively?
Yes, so some of the detail information would be like my NAIC codes, so NAIC codes, because that's more of a federal side, but the state utilizes those codes. It helps them determine what type of projects that they can send your way, RFQs or RFPs. Cage code, that's a federal number that is utilized, and you have to be involved in sam.gov. So we've been registered on sam.gov now for almost 5 years. So that information is important. Your SIC code is important. So those type of code that allows a project coordinator at McCarran or in contracts or somebody from the federal government, they can look that up and they find you immediately through their system. And then they can introduce themselves and or start sending RFQs your way, requests for quotes. So those are some of the important pieces of information.
Can I throw something in back
Please.
here? Okay. So capability statements also is one of the resource areas that we help with at McCarran Airport. So when I go and do outreach events or see applicants, there's two questions I ask them. I go talk about the DBE application, and then I talk about their capability statement, Marcel. The reason why I say that is because, like you stated, and Rebecca's as well, the capability statement is a resume for your business, but there is no right or wrong answer on a capability statement. It's how much passion you put in that capability statement that you want the user to convey of what you are offering. Okay, there's a couple areas that I want to talk about that I talk to individuals. Is I tell them, okay, what is about your company that best suits the needs of the agency over another? So what makes you better over company B? Okay, what is about your services that make you stand out from the rest? What is about your employees that gives you the advantage over your other competitors? And why are your products better than the others? Okay, as a business owner, you always got to think one up on your competitor in order to get where you want to be. Okay, you can't just sit on your hands and knees and just say, okay, I'm just going to be standard across the board. Okay, that won't get you anywhere. You need to bump it up a little bit to the fact of, okay, here's why I'm better, and this is why you should pick me over this company. Okay, so with that said, one thing that I have, and Rebecca hit it on the head, is that we have templates that for the capability statements. And I also send those out too with the application because I want to see businesses grow. I want to see their capability statement get out there to the public. And I want to get their capability statement because I email blast that to everybody, all the chambers, all the general contractors, so everybody knows what your business does. So I'm not one to hoard.
You sure do, David. You're very consistent in terms of a weekly basis. Yep. Basically sharing that information with all the resource partners, which is amazing. But I am so glad that you are mentioning that there is a template, so we can adjust. Because listening to the two of you is a combination of a company overview, maybe some of the products or services that you offer. I don't know if it includes maybe the list of the companies that you work with. What differentiate you from the rest, sort of your unique capability bringing to the table. So that's just wonderful.
And so,
just to piggyback really quickly on something that David said, while he has templates, one thing that I'm sure that he does, he's going to customize the template to each individual owner and their business. And one of the things I've seen over time, and I've also gotten this from other entrepreneurship centers around the country associated with the Urban League, is that the capability statement, yes, it's definitely a resume, but it's also somewhat of an elevator pitch. Meaning that when someone looks at it, they want to know more. And so there are many times where the capability statement will point, because a lot of business owners have so much to say about their business, they're not going to get it in one capability statement. But if I can entice somebody to go and look at my website where there's way more information about my employees and what I'm good at and other success stories with different types of jobs that I've done, then you've really hit it on the head, because they're not just looking at this one piece of paper or a double-sided piece of paper. They're like, www.davidmccarranairport.com, and now I see, now I get it. I didn't necessarily get it from that one pager, but now I get it. And so if you can use a capability statement to drive your potential, potential vendor or contractor or contract to more information about yourself, you're all the more ahead of the game. And it goes back to setting yourself apart from competition, like David was talking about.
And we also have another question for the audience, and this person would like each of the panelists' opinion about this. And it reads, is the capability statement template an advantage or disadvantage? I have designed mine to look differently than many others. I would love to learn each of the panel's opinion on whether keeping information in the same place or format is a benefit. So how about we start with you, David?
Okay, so it sounds like, Kathleen, he's asking, he has, I guess, there's a certain structure that is that what I'm getting across? Okay, so your template that you may have may work for certain areas, okay, certain companies or certain bids, okay, but you have to take a look at what type of contract you're looking at to promote your business in a certain field, okay? You may have to tweak it just a bit, okay, but not that much. You always want to keep the meat and potatoes of your business so you can convey that to the end user, okay? So I hope that answers the question.
Okay, and how about we have your opinion, Rebecca?
Well, I'll go back to an experience I had when I was with the federal federal event, and the gentleman looked at my capability statement and he said, "You have good content." He goes, "Content's very critical." He said, "But you have a lot of wasted real estate on your capability statement," because I thought it would be pretty to have some of the pictures of my company and things like that and the logo. And it did take up too much real estate on my capability statement. So I went back and he explained I needed to add some more detail about the company, such as what David was talking about. What am I passionate about, or what is my niche in terms of being a general contractor? And so I added some of that information, and then it became a valid capability statement.
Excellent. Marcel?
Oh, I think absolutely. Is there an advantage to having a capability statement? By all means. I own a small company with my wife. We have a capability statement. And like Rebecca was saying, it's an evolving document of continuous improvement, which is the beauty of it. And just reinforcing what Dino was saying, you can use that as an elevator statement or elevator speech that you can present to a company. So it keeps evolving. So absolutely, yes, it is an advantage.
Excellent. And Dino, what are your thoughts?
I think that the template is a great start. You don't want your capability statement to be generic, but you do have to have certain things in it, like David and Rebecca are saying. I kind of liken it to, I can jump on bplan.com to do my business plan. But if I use that as a template to start, then I'm on my way. But I don't want my business plan to look like something you can get off bplan.com. I want my business plan or my capability statement to reflect me and my company. So I think a template is important to start. But then, like Marcel was saying, this is not a static document. This will be a dynamic document because you'll need to change it based on the number of different projects that you do and the things you want to show off about your business. So it's a great place to start, but I wouldn't depend on it for my be-all and end-all final product.
Okay. Well, thank you for your comments and thank you for your questions as well, audience. I really enjoy this, how everyone is interacting. And with that being said, let's make the connection between the DBE certification and the capability statement. So bringing the two together. Any thoughts on that, David?
One thing about having the capability statement and the DBE certification together. Okay, one thing about the DBE certification, you do not need a capability statement for your packet. However, anytime you go out to a outreach event or, because there are many out there, because we mostly attend a lot of them, you want to make sure that that capability statement is ready to go, because that's the first thing that business owners or agencies like McCarran and the federal government and county and so on, that's the first thing that they look for. Okay, don't come in there empty-handed and say, hey, I'm company A and I'm interested in working for your company. The first question they're going to ask you, where's your business card? Where's your capability statement? And what can you do?
Hold on, excuse me, David. Could you repeat that? Because I've seen this before. Please repeat that. I know it's the basics, but please repeat that.
Okay, so again, when you come prepared for these outreach events, okay, you must, as a business owner, and I say this all the time to applicants that I see, you must come prepared with a business card and a capability statement. Do not come empty-handed to those events, because they are not going to remember you if you don't have anything. They're not going to look at you and say, okay, this company is not serious about this. They're just gathering information. Okay? So don't waste their time. Don't waste your time. Be determined, be focused, and be mission-oriented to get what you want to do. If you're a business owner and you want to get somewhere, come prepared.
Excellent, excellent. And Rebecca, how has the dynamic duo of a DBE certification or any certification that you have and the capability statement, how effective has that been for you when you are in front of a decision maker?
It's a lot of times in my arena, my capability statement and certification gets submitted with a package. So it's not that I'm actually in front of these people, but because it's there, because it's together, because it's well thought out, it's professionally. I went the route of having it professionally created. It has made a difference. It's impressive. And that's the intent, is we want to impress whoever's going to be reading it, and our ducks are in order. It means we know our business. So it just speaks volumes when you have that information put together correctly and together. So it's been effective.
That's fantastic. And with that being said, Dino, Marcel, any comments in the dynamic dual combo of the DBE certification and
Well, I love
capability
what you
statements?
ask David to repeat.
Yes, yes.
And that I
yes.
will frame that into networking.
Very
Because I
good.
think it goes into this whole umbrella of effectively networking. In some cases, we just think that we just show up
Right, exactly.
and with our passion
Right.
and our knowledge base of what we do.
I agree.
And I think just having that capability statement, that in some cases I have replaced that for a brochure
Yes, yes.
because it's no
Yes.
longer applicable or a lot of information. It's just one page.
Right.
And then from there you capture the website. From there you can capture even your contact information that perhaps you may have in a business card. But I think it's just excellent because I think part of also educating ourselves and our audience is that we are better prepared to do effective networking. And we do it not only just with the knowledge base of our business, but we also do it with a heart.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. I want to add to one other experience. When I first met David, it was at an outreach event. And I stood back and watched his table, where they had their setup. And I knew that he would be the person I should introduce myself to, someone that takes courage. I didn't want to be intimidated, but I was a little intimidated because I was new to the game at the time. But I did. I went up. I walked straight up to David. I introduced myself. I handed my card to him. And we had an exchange, looked eye to eye. But one of the things he said probably a year later is the one thing that impressed him was that I had a rock-solid business card, which I do, and that I was willing to come up and look him in the eye and introduce and follow through with what he suggested. So those are really critical things to do when you go to these outreach events as well.
Absolutely. It's the presence that you create, the how you impact a person's perception of you as well.
Yes.
All of those things come in time, but in within that moment, it really is about your own growth and development, how you want to present yourself, and what you're willing to do in order to accomplish those goals. And you've done that so remarkably, Rebecca. And with that being said, I also want to include Dino. Dino, any comments on this and the dynamic dual marriage, if you will, of the DBE and capability statement? Has that been an asset or benefit for your clients to keep that top of mind when they are interacting with certain decision makers?
So I see the two as being, cohesively linked, especially for contractors. You need both, especially if you're looking at, at state opportunities and federal opportunities, GST, what have you. But if anything gets taken away from this discussion, I have to just mimic what Rebecca was saying. A lot of the training that I do at the Entrepreneurship Center is really around not so much, creating a business plan and getting all your ducks in order and getting all your finances in order, et cetera. It's really about, how you present yourself. And so Rebecca is not the average entrepreneur, right? Rebecca picked up the phone and called people. A lot of the entrepreneurs that I see don't want to do that. The entrepreneurs I see, they're best-in-class practitioners. They're best-in-class chefs. They're best-in-class, contractors. And they want to be doing what they do. The chef wants to be in the kitchen. The contractor wants to be on site They don't want to do the community outreach that you guys have pointed out is so critical. So my training is a lot around, you know what? You need to start doing A, B, C, and D. I need to put you in front of a lender. You're not ready yet. And I'm not going to put you in front of that lender unless you can show me that you're ready to be in front of them. And it's the same thing with community outreach. You need to be able to get out and promote yourself. And that's something that's much more it's much more difficult than it sounds. So I salute you, Rebecca, and for what you've accomplished. And I salute David as well for the fact that he's giving out his personal information. That's something I've done. I sometimes regret, but I actually do love. And I'm being serious because I was in the hospital recently, and I was getting phone calls every day in the hospital. And like an idiot, I took them and I helped them. But sometimes you need some time to yourself. So I'm thinking about getting another cell phone. But thank you to both of you. This is fantastic information. I hope that our listeners understand that it's not just being in the kitchen. It's not just hammering nails. It's not just selling cars. You've got to be active and proactive about your business if you want to get these government contracts, be they state, local, or federal. You can't just sit back. The example I was giving you before about the 8A process, my client actually got a certification, and then he sat back and he started to blame me and other people for the fact that he wasn't getting government contracts. I said, it doesn't work like that. Just because you have it doesn't mean that they're going to pick you out of, hundreds of thousands of contractors. You've got to get out there and let them know that you exist and why you're more important than other people who do this work. It's more than just Nellis Air Force Base. You want to be going for you want to be looking outside of the Vegas market. That's what 8A gets you. You have to use the tool. If you don't use the tool, you just wasted 3 years of your time and my time, quite frankly.
Thank you, Dino. And with that being said, any closing remarks? This has been fantastic. And thank you again, audience members, for attending. We really enjoyed your comments, and to our esteemed panelists as well. So with that being said, David, Rebecca, Marcel, Dino, any closing comments or pearls of wisdom that you'd like to leave with the audience today? Let's start with Rebecca.
I would just say get involved in your community. Exposure is everything, and develop your relationships. Don't be afraid to walk up to the head of a commerce, like I do Latin Chamber of Commerce luncheons, and I walk straight up to Peter Guzman, the president, and make sure he knows who I am. The same when I sit on the board of directors for NCA. If I don't know some of those board members, I make sure they know who I am. So it's nerve-wracking sometimes. But I've gotten accustomed to being nervous, so we just go with it. So I would just say get out there and get involved in the community.
And I would like to know your thoughts about this real quick. There's a distinct difference between approaching someone and being fearless and approaching someone and being foolish.
Yes.
So your thoughts about that?
If you're going to approach somebody, if you don't really know what you're going to say, if you're nervous, just approach them, just shake their hand, introduce yourself, and just say you'll be seeing me around. To keep it very simple, if you don't have something confident to say, but just take the opportunity when it's in front of you.
Very good. Thank you. Excellent. David?
Okay, so I'm glad that everybody was able to look and listen to us and look at these little nuggets that are out there. Okay, there are a lot of resource partners out there that will help your business. Do not be afraid to pick up that phone or email them or even contact them and say, hey, I need help. Okay, call us. We're there for you. So that's all I can say about that. Use your resources that you have out there.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. And before we leave, I would like for all of you to share your contact information as well if anyone would like to follow up with you. Marcel, closing comments?
Well, again, listening to David, the importance of we're not perfect. We are resource partners. But this interaction today reinforces that we have a robust customer experience. It goes beyond customer service. It goes into the customer experience. people with the expertise, people with the time and the heart to hold hands and walk you through the process. And again, let me repeat, we are not perfect, but with that perspective, I think we are quite blessed
Yes,
to work as a team, helping individuals out there, and we will continue to do that. Contact information, very simple for us, is business.nv.gov. Call us, and we'll put you in contact with the right resources. And again, thank you so much, everyone, for being here today.
Thank you.
Our pleasure.
definitely. And Dino, any closing comments and your contact information?
Nope. My contact information is our website is www.lv.org. My email is dbrowne@lvul.org. And I'm not going to give you my phone number because I got But if you email me, I will call you back. And Marcel says, we're not perfect and we're not, but we are blessed.
Good. Well said.
I would say, speak for yourself. I'm probably the closest thing to perfection you're going to find. So anyway, I'm just joking. Sorry.
Thank you.
We're not perfect, but we'll do everything that we can from the bottom of our hearts to help you.
Absolutely.
That's the bottom line.
And
It warms my heart to see, owners like Rebecca and partners like David, doing some of the great work that they're doing.
yes.
God bless you all. That's fantastic.
It really is. I agree. As I was saying earlier, this is like the fruit of our labor, and excellent work, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Could you please share your contact information with the audience?
Yeah, if they go to my website, it's KORB.com, and there's a contact page in there to be able to reach to me.
Very good. And David, one more time, your contact information, please.
Okay, my email address is davide, DAVIDE, @McCarran, MCCARRAN.com.
Thank you.
And your phone number?
Okay. Marcel got me on this one. 702-513-6868. And you can call me anytime and schedule an appointment or ask questions, and I'll be there for you.
Excellent. And
Marcel, you're the worst.
and one of our audience members said, thank you so much. And David, you will hear from a Miss Walsh soon. Yes.
Look forward to it.
Absolutely.
Excellent.
And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in on a Saturday morning to the Startup Steps webinar provided by the Nevada Women's Business Center, Nevada Business Opportunity Fund, in partnership with the Department of Business and Industry and also with the Las Vegas Urban League. And again, thank you so much, David Eclips with the McCarran Airport. You are a rock star. And also with Ms. Rebecca Fountain, you are a superstar. We really appreciate it. And also, we would like to hear your feedback for those of you that tuned in. We will send you an auto survey after the webinar. So please give us your thoughts. And with that being said, if you have any questions, please give us a call, the Nevada Women's Business Center at area code 702-734-3555. If you have any questions about entrepreneurship, training, counseling, and also funding options. I'm Kathleen Taylor, and once again, thank you so much, everyone, for this fantastic webinar in collaboration with the Nevada Department of Business and Industry, the Las Vegas Urban League, and also McCarran Airport, and a stellar, fantastic, thriving, successful local business core.
Cheers.
The core building group with Rebecca Fountain at the helm. Thank you. Have a good weekend. Bye, everyone.
Take care, guys.
Take care,
Bye,
Dino.
Dino.
Great job, Kathleen.
Absolutely.